it's Superman!
Oh, hey, kid.
What's your favorite thing about Earth?
What's the thing I love most about Earth? Line 'em up reviews. Oh, and Lois Lane.
Why's your face all fucked up?
I don't know what you're talking about, kid. There's nothing wrong with my face. What is up, ladies and gentle dudes? Kyle here, and today we're going to be talking about Justice League. I had already recorded a review for this earlier, and then the sound quality was just garbage, so I'm trying it again. So let's talk about probably one of the more disappointing movies of the year. It's been a while since I've actually put up a new review. Just been really busy. I just moved a few months ago. Before then, I was just busy with other shit. And honestly, this year hasn't been the best for me in certain different things, but overall, it's just been a fucking weird year in general. You know, I had my computer and stuff set up. I was just mainly being lazy. So here we are, new review. Let's get into it.
In the great hall of the Justice League.
So Justice League is the culmination of, what, 5 years of work for the DC EU, which is not, it's not really a culmination of anything, because we have 3 movies that came out before this that were only tangentially related, really. Batman versus Superman and Man of Steel, sure, they connect directly to Justice League. Wonder Woman, you know, she was kind of forced into Batman versus Superman, and then she had her own movie, which was fantastic. Honestly, they should just scrap the whole DC EU at this point and just kind of try again. Maybe even give it a couple years. But no, they're fucking stupid. They've already got a slate of more movies. We're going to see a Cyborg, Green Lantern, Flash, you know, Deathstroke standalone. There's Batman. There's 2 Joker movies in the mix. There's Gotham City Sirens, Suicide Squad 2. They're really trying to just say, oh, we're gonna do all this shit. But after this movie, I don't know, man. I don't really think there's a whole lot that Warner Brothers can really do to salvage this universe that they're trying to build. It's not anywhere close to Marvel. Justice League is a movie that people have been waiting decades to see. They've been waiting decades to see these larger-than-life characters on the screen teaming up, you know, taking on a massive threat. And I'm not gonna lie, some parts of this movie do deliver on that, but the majority of this movie is fucking dog shit. Obviously, I'm gonna break it up into sections. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna get into the reasons why I didn't like it, just from a purely like technical standpoint, and throw in some light plot elements. And then we'll do a spoiler talk after this, so that, you know, if you don't give a shit about the movie or you're kind of on the fence, you can hear what I have to say and then you can get into it. And I'll assign the score before I go into my spoilers. The first thing that really stands out about this movie, and, you know, that's actually what I referenced in the intro. Obviously, Superman comes back. This is not really a spoiler. I mean, you know that he was going to come back because you can't have the Justice League without Superman. You just can't do it. And these dumb motherfuckers, apparently Paramount, you know, whoever is doing Mission Impossible at this moment, I think it's still Paramount, said, you guys can have Henry Cavill for reshoots for your movie because we know that, you know, Joss Whedon's coming in doing reshoots. But here's the thing, he has a mustache right now for Mission Impossible 6, and he can't shave the mustache. He can't get rid of it. You have to keep the mustache. And Warner Brothers said, okay, well, let's just CGI out the mustache. Instead of working with them and saying, hey, let's shave it and then, you know, just get a fake mustache. And pretty much anything else. Superman happened to grow a beard while he was dead. You couldn't fucking explain this away anyway. They just go, yeah, sure, just fucking chuck money at it and just throw this god-awful CGI, which basically looks like a Snapchat filter or one of those old-ass late night show sketches. They cut out the mouth of like a celebrity's picture and then put somebody else's mouth talking. It's really jarring. I'm sure some people are going to be like, oh, I don't notice anything. what's even more ridiculous is that apparently Warner Brothers even offered to shave Henry Cavill's mustache and do CGI mustache for Mission Impossible instead and pay for it, because I guess that's easier than CGI it off. It's just like, how difficult is it to get somebody a fake mustache, really? Like, knowing any small amount of practical effects, it's a million times easier to make a realistic mustache than fucking CGI one off of somebody's face. So that's one of my biggest things. You know, there was a lot of behind the scenes chaos in this. You know, just the production in general was just all over the place. And it shows. Joss Whedon took over directorial duties, basically an edit for Zack Snyder, and tonally, this movie's all over the fucking place.
Let's talk about editing.
Editing is choppy as shit. The movie is only 2 hours long. Batman vs. Superman and Man of Steel, those are 2.5 hour, almost 3 hour affairs. Man of Steel is like still the only one that's really coherent, I guess. Batman vs. Superman, the Ultimate Edition, was a little bit better. This one, there's just these huge gaps where shit is missing, and it's very apparent. It feels like Suicide Squad or Transformers. Shit just happens and then you just immediately move on, and it's just very jarring. It doesn't feel like a cohesive narrative. It doesn't feel like a movie because you have these very clear cuts. You know, like there's a scene from one of the trailers where Batman is on a fucking horse going through the mountains to see Aquaman, meet him for the first time, and introduce him to the Justice League. And there's like a really wide angle shot of him just, you know, traversing up this mountain. Clearly this is going to be a big journey for Batman. Probably going to come across some shit. But no, they just, in the movie, they show Batman just like on the horse for like 2 seconds as he like reaches the village, and then boom, he's just in the fucking village and he's just talking to Aquaman. And they don't make it clear, you know, that he's like, he knows who Aquaman is, but Aquaman doesn't know who he is or whatever. He basically just goes, oh yeah, you guys have somebody protecting you. And then Aquaman's like, get out of my village. Come on, man, I want you to be on the team. No, fuck off. And then that's the end of the scene. Like, there's no Batman looking for him, no talking to the locals or anything, really. It's just weird. The opening's weird. It opens with just these two sequences just back to back that make no fucking sense, and then you're just straight into the story. And I don't have a problem with going straight into the story, but again, just make it coherent. The best thing to compare it to is Avengers. You know, Avengers just gets you right fucking in there. You know, Loki invades Earth and shit just hits the fan right away. This movie, you're just like, what the fuck is going on? Every piece of the movie, it's just like, it starts to fucking jumble together. I saw this movie not even a week ago, I don't think. And already I'm just like, God damn it, I don't remember any of this shit because it's just not interesting. And it's because of that choppy editing. If this movie had a little bit more time to breathe, if it had an extra 30 minutes, it probably would have felt a lot better to watch.
Production value. Ooh, that looks good.
Again, CGI mustache is horrible. It's just so obvious. But all the special effects in this movie are bad, and it would have been a really easy fix for a lot of these, honestly. Again, just knowing even the bare minimum of filmmaking, you could see how they could fix some of this shit really, really simply. The aliens, the parademons just look bad. They just are like these weird like bug demon things. And they just don't mesh with the rest of the designs of the Justice League or anything else, really. So they're very cartoony. The costumes, they might have worked in Zack Snyder's original vision, but because we had that transition between the two directors, now the color grading is drastically different. So it's this more like hopeful, almost cartoony look, which I don't necessarily have a problem with. I think that our comic book movie should be a little bit brighter. In this instance, it does not fucking work. They should have just gone with Zack Snyder's style. If Patty Jenkins was forced to use it for fucking Wonder Woman for the majority of that movie, I think they should have forced Joss Whedon to use it just so it just looks consistent across all their movies. And then after this go, okay, well now we're gonna change shit up. But you got Superman and his fucking bright blue outfit. It's like baby blue almost. And it's just like, what the fuck? When he shows up, it does not look right. Especially, he doesn't have the underpants over his fucking outfit, so he's just got a giant fucking blue onesie on, and it just looks bad. Batman, of course, with that gray color palette, he's gonna look fucking badass, and he just looks goofy in this one. The only ones that kind of work were the newer characters. I guess for the most part they were fine, but that's because their outfits, no matter what color scheme you apply to them, they're not going to be completely ruined. The color grading is just a fucking mess. Like, seriously, I would have just preferred them to just stay with that ugly Zack Snyder look for this movie and then move on. They need to do a hard overhaul on everything at this point. The bad guy, Steppenwolf, he looks like a fucking melted action figure. It's that embarrassing. Instead of putting a guy in some prosthetics or something, or making a memorable looking CGI character, it's just this dude that's like slightly bigger than average. He's like 7 feet tall or something. And then he's got a gray face that's got shit hanging off of it. And just generic armor. Just fucking uninteresting overall. And it's really distracting. Any scene you see with him, you're just like, oh, well, he's fake. It's worse than Doomsday, okay? And Doomsday in Batman vs. Superman was pretty fucking bad. So if you can realize it's worse than Doomsday, it's worse than Ares from Wonder Woman. If you put that in perspective, that's bad. That's really bad. So I just took issue with the character design there. It was just very flawed. And that leads directly into the next thing, the narrative and just the writing in this movie in general. My God.
Here comes the synopsis.
Steppenwolf is a non-character. He's literally a bad guy that just fucking teleports in from outer space, says, I need these 3 fucking things. I need to get the things and take over the world. And then he just starts doing it. And that's like his whole motivation. Obviously, there's a lot more to it than that. And again, I'll talk more about it in spoilers. But you don't get any of that from this movie. Literally, he shows up, he goes, I'm evil, and then he just does his evil thing. What? It's the worst movie villain I've seen in a long fucking time. Like, a really long time. And it's just really embarrassing after you see something like Thor Ragnarok or literally any Marvel movie, and like the villains are just kind of meh for the most part, but they still have motivations, they still have a character, they still have some dialogue that helps to push the plot forward. This motherfucker is just there. It's pointless. Flash is fun. I will say that he was a fun part of it. There's some fun character moments with him. I would have liked to have learned more about Cyborg and Aquaman. But all these characters are just kind of introduced, just thrown in there, and it's basically just go, okay, well, we need to get the fucking team together so they could just fight. It's good that it moves along at a brisk pace to just get that shit out of the way, so, these guys are established as a team. But at the same time, I mean, Superman and Batman had these ridiculous rehashings of their stories over and over and over again, and we can't get just a little sliver of the Flash's origin story or Cyborg's origin story or Aquaman. Nobody really gets a crack at being a well-established character. They just kind of have their fun little moments in their interactions. Some work, some don't. And I think that's the biggest issue I have with this movie, as well as the thing that makes it, the few parts of it that do work actually work. Because the characters are so widely drawn, it's not very difficult to have a bunch of different team-ups of characters in the movie. So, once the action gets going, like, you go, okay, well, Aquaman, he's not quite a dude bro, but he kind of is. And Cyborg is kind of super serious, and he's a tech guy. So they got to team up and do this. But, or Flash is really jokey, but he's not very skilled. And Batman's super hard and badass. Let's see how this plays out. So that works. That's fun, but it's like, just give me a little bit something more, just a little bit more characterization, so I give a shit. So I want to go see a Flash or Cyborg or Aquaman movie. And at this point, I really don't give a shit. I'll go see Wonder Woman too. I like Wonder Woman, but you know, I don't really care about a new Batman movie, which is shocking because Batman's one of my favorite fucking characters of all time. Certainly don't give a shit about a new Superman movie. Yeah, so this movie overall just doesn't do anything for me. It's just bland and boring and dry. The soundtrack isn't very interesting. It's not bad, it's not good, it's not memorable. It's cool that they have little stings for, you know, Batman and Superman and stuff. They have their classic theme songs kind of sprinkled in there, which is nice to kind of give it that feel. But really, I just felt like I was watching a mix between like the Justice League cartoon show and a Zack Snyder movie, which does not work. It does not work. You either need to go full one way or full the other. You can't, there's no fucking half measures. You can't half-ass this. With that being said, my score for this movie is going to have to be a 5 out of 10. It's not very memorable. It's not very fun except for a handful of character moments, and it's just depressing. Like, it's depressing that they waited God knows how many years to make this fucking movie, and then this is what happens, and they spend $300 million on it, and it's gonna fucking bomb at the box office even though it's making a decent amount of money because Warner Brothers is stupid. Yeah, it sucks. It sucks in every way. It sucks for the actors, it sucks for the studio, it sucks for the fans. It just flat out sucks.
Oh yeah, it's time for spoilers.
So let's get into spoilers. We're just going to talk about some of the plot elements and stuff that really bothered me, and I think that if you didn't get a clear picture of what this movie was like in the first part of the review, you'll definitely understand what it is like in the second part. So the big thing is the plot is almost non-existent. So literally the movie opens up with Superman talking on fucking cell phone footage to some little kid about something. You know, smash cuts to after Superman's funeral, the world is in a shambles and it's just a shit show, and they're kind of showing, you know, how it's a world without hope without Superman. I'm like, okay, this feels like, you know, the typical Zack Snyder thing. Don't know what was up with that cell phone footage shit. It was kind of weird, but okay, I understand this. Cut to Batman on a fucking rooftop for some reason. It's like daylight out. He's on a rooftop. Demon comes down and he just like fucking starts punching the demon. It's just really weird. And then the demon dies and like vomits up this picture of the mother boxes, and Batman goes, "What the hell are those?" And he essentially just goes, "Okay, well, I need to get a team together." And then it was either Wonder Woman, I think it was Wonder Woman in a bank. Oh god, like it's you know, Batman assembles a team. The team realizes that they need Superman. Once they're all fighting together, that's actually cool. Batman assembles a team because they need these 3 mother boxes, which are these like highly intelligent supercomputer cubes. But we don't get that from the narrative. Literally, Steppenwolf comes down and says, "I need the mother boxes," and he talks to them and shit, but we don't know why he's talking to them, which just kind of makes him look crazy. He wants to get these 3 mother boxes together so that he could terraform the Earth and turn it into Darkseid, planet Darkseid or whatever, which doesn't really mesh well with the previous stuff that they establish in Batman versus Superman. Like, it's very clear that the narrative changed, because what it feels like is like this probably could have been a 2-part movie. I think that might have been the initial plan even, but like really what it should have been is you know, it probably should have had Lex Luthor. It probably should have had Batman go to Lex Luthor and explain, you know, understand what the fuck is going on and begrudgingly work with him, because that always fucking happens in the comic books or any other DC narrative. They go, "Well, I fucking hate Lex Luthor, but he is pretty smart. I guess we kind of have to talk to him." And after that bell ringing shit at the end of Batman vs. Superman actually would have made sense. And then, you know, it would have heralded in Steppenwolf basically comes down to gauge Earth's strength before calling in Darkseid, who's his master. That would have made a lot more sense. Whereas this, Steppenwolf, we don't understand as a character. He just fucking comes down, gets these 3 mother boxes together and tries to terraform Earth. Of course, Justice League says, oh, well, we need Superman. There's no fucking way we're going to defeat this guy without Superman. Because they, like, try to fight him while he's getting one of the mother boxes, and they get their asses fucking kicked. Like, it's embarrassing. This is also a really stupid element. They use one of the mother boxes to bring Superman back to life, which just is super fucking generic, and it is literally ripped straight from Avengers 2, dude. This is straight from Age of Ultron. Clearly, Joss Whedon is the one that came up with this shit, because he was just like, money. And he's like, I know, I'll just take the plot that I did, a few years ago and just slap it in here. It's literally like that scene from Age of Ultron where they're about to make Vision and they're arguing about it and stuff, but it's literally Batman goes, I think we should resurrect Superman. And then Wonder Woman goes, oh no, we can't resurrect Superman. That's a horrible Wonder Woman. Stiff. Horrible Wonder Woman. And then they're like, fuck it, let's just resurrect him. Who cares? And then they're like, what if he's evil? And they're just like, who gives a shit? Like, just revive Superman. And so they do it. Surprise! Superman's evil for like 2 seconds because he doesn't know where he is or something. Batman gets Lois Lane and then immediately he's just like, ooh, pussy. And then he's like, I'm good again. Hey, god damn it. Ugh. Things happen. Superman shows up at the final battle between Steppenwolf and the Justice League and basically just beats the shit out of Steppenwolf while everybody else in the Justice League just kind of takes a back seat. It's actually really funny, and I don't think it was supposed to be a funny moment, but Batman shows up with the Justice League in their fucking Quinjet or whatever it's called. He lands it, and he's just like a mom dropping some kids off at fucking soccer practice or something. He's like, all right, you guys go in there and you stop Steppenwolf, and I'm gonna go take the fucking jet to shoot that tower over there. Thanks for the help, Batman. There's literally nothing else you could do. He's like, nah, I'm just gonna fuck off. They kill a bunch of parademons. Superman shows up out of the fucking sky, punches Steppenwolf a couple of times. They are able to defeat him. He loses his axe that he's attacking people with because Wonder Woman destroys it. And then the parademons apparently feed on fear, so they eat him alive, Lion King style. It's like they literally just were like, we're too lazy to actually write a fucking script. Let's just pick shit from other media and just throw it at a wall, hope it sticks. Yeah, they take the axe, and then the parademons just immediately start eating Steppenwolf. The worst thing, though, oh my god, at the very end of this movie, they have the generic bad movie, there will absolutely not be a sequel teaser shit. I think you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. They did it in Fantastic Four.
Which reminds me, I think that the 4 of us should have a name.
Gotta say, it's fantastic.
Say that again?
The exact same fucking thing happened at the end of King Arthur with the round table.
We've been wondering what you were doing in here. I like it. What is it? It's a table.
Literally Batman and Wonder Woman walking into fucking, I don't know, it's Wayne Manor or something. I don't think it's actually Wayne Manor. It's some indescript location. They set up a table and they're like, oh yeah, this is a table the Justice League is gonna meet at. I was like, there's enough seats for 6 or 7 people. And Wonder Woman's like, oh, maybe we should add some more. It's not happening. I don't think there's gonna be another movie, man. It's like forcing that on the audience, going like, oh, but, maybe, hey, some new people show up. Establish your fucking characters first. I don't want to see another fucking movie that is just all over the place. So that's my thoughts on it. I mean, you see how fucking threadbare the plot is? There's no amazing or memorable action set pieces. Yeah, it's cool to see the Flash, running at super speed, but straight up stolen from X-Men, with a couple of little flourishes on there. There's no, really badass, shot of the whole team, fucking shit up Avengers style, which you would think that Joss Whedon would put in there. Because he did that shit in both Avengers movies, and he could have had the same type of thing going on with Justice League, but, made it even more cool, and he's just not motivated. This movie is so fucking forgettable. Like, it's just not good. It's just bland. If you're really hankering for some fucking superhero action, and you want to see those classic characters, just go watch Wonder Woman, the original Superman movies, or the Christopher Nolan Batman movies, or the Tim Burton Batman movies. And then just pretend that the fucking Flash and Aquaman and them are in there. Or go watch the fucking Justice League TV show. There's hours of content there. It's way more engaging. Any of the DC animated movies. Just watch anything other than this fucking movie. It's a waste of time and energy. And it just sucks. It sucks. Alright, I'm done.